Hey everyone, it's Luke here, and I know it's been quite a while since I did a video like this, but I decided now would probably be a pretty good time, and yes, as you may have noticed, I have had a haircut, but that's besides the point. Today, I am going to talk about and share with you my picks for who are the greatest Batman villains. The top 5. Well, at least my top 5 Batman villains. Okay, so let's begin. Number 5, we have the DA of Gotham, Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. Now, the reason I've decided to have Two-Face on the list is that he very much does represent sort of like the line of morality in a way, and that's all down to the coin, you know, because one flip of that coin and you could be dead. So those had better be lucky if they've been around Two-Face, and the final verdict has been that they're gonna live. But that's just the thing, really, with him. He is very much like the faithful doubt kind of guy, except he kind of intensifies it in a sense. And not to mention, like the acid on the left side of his face when he gets transformed into Two-Face, it really does make him look like two sides of the coin physically as well. So that's quite cool to see, I think. So that's it for Two-Face. Number 4, we have the Reptile of Gotham, Killer Croc. Killer Croc, it's mainly his design that makes me like him as much as I do. Admittedly, I could have swapped it around and made Killer Croc 5 and Two-Face 4, but I'm keeping it as is. So Killer Croc, number 4. However, he's kind of one note with the stuff that he wants to do, because the only thing he really wants to do is kill Batman. Like, if you remember, like in the opening of Batman Arkham Asylum, the Killer Croc's all, I've got your scent, Batman. I will hunt you down. So yeah, kind of a one-note guy, but hey, the design is awesome, so that puts him at number 4 for me. Okay, for my number 3 pick, we have the Frigid Feed, Mr. Freeze, or Victor Fries, Mr. Freeze, depending on how you want to refer to him as. So, oh god, sorry. The main thing that I really like about Freeze is the fact that I feel that during the era of stuff like Batman the Animated Series, Freeze was handled at his best, and he was actually given a motivation for doing the things he does. Like for instance, in the Batman Arkham games, thanks to Paul Dini having written the stories for those games, Freeze's only goal was to find Nora. He didn't want anything else because she was his key into the world, and he started crumbling like a snowman would. So yeah, that's why I like Freeze a lot. Not to mention like the design of his suit as well. It's really cool. So yeah, Mr. Freeze number 3. Next we have the symbol of, for number 2, we have the symbol of fear himself, Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow. First and foremost, one of the things that I think makes Scarecrow stand out from a lot of other Batman villains is the fact he wants to take down his rivals, but not with but he doesn't do it physically. but psychologically toying with his victims until they see their worst nightmares. I mean, look at the opening, for instance, of the latest Batman game, Batman Arkham Knight. I mean, simply Scarecrow saying that, saying to the citizens of Gotham he will unleash a neurotoxin onto Gotham's population. That alone, that alone just scares everyone to leave the city as well. Not to mention the design of Scarecrow as well, like in the Batman Arkham games, especially in Arkham Asylum. Is it just me, or is it just me? No, I know I'm not the only one who prefers it, but I actually think that the Arkham Asylum Scarecrow is the cooler looking between that and the Arkham Knight Scarecrow. But then again, the Arkham Knight Scarecrow isn't actually that bad looking at all, now that I think about it. But the voice of Scarecrow, I think, is better in Arkham Knight, thanks to John Noble. But anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked. But yeah, the one word to sum up Jonathan Crane: fear. Because that's what he will do. He will torment you, he will psychologically toy with you, and he will threaten you until you... he will toy with you until, again, you've seen your worst nightmares. And now we have number 1, which goes to the Clown Prince of Crime himself. Yes, it is none other than the Joker. Now, the big thing with Joker for me is he's kind of like Scarecrow in what he wants to do to take out the enemy, except he's probably more of a combatant type villain than Scarecrow. But what's interesting is the things he gets a thrill from, because to quote Mark Hamill, he just gets the joy out of the most sadistic, oddball things. And let's face it, like for instance, as a kid he murdered his parents and he actually got a thrill from it. But the thing is, his key motivation for doing the things he does, it's Batman, really, because, like, he's the one who's like the battery of Joker in a way. But the thing is, the approaches of Scarecrow and Joker, they're completely different. But what I think is really cool is not only the Joker's design, but it's just the things he does. I know they may sound oddball, but it's really the thing in my eyes that makes him not only one of the most unique Batman villains, but also the villain. Not to mention, well, Mark Hamill's awesome approach to the Joker in Batman the Animated Series and the Rocksteady Batman Arkham games, because, can I just say, Mark Hamill, at least in my eyes, don't hate on me for saying this if you're one for Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson, but yeah, Mark Hamill, best Joker ever. And not to mention, he was actually classified, people actually did say that not only was Mark Hamill's Joker perfect for TV, but it's also the comic book Joker. Was that same compliment handed to Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson? I didn't think so. Because the thing, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to either of them, but the thing is, to me, the Heath Ledger Joker, in particular, though, is extremely brutal. Like, if you look in The Dark Knight, it doesn't... I'm not one for that Joker. Because, I don't know, I guess Mark Hamill kind of carries the Heath Ledger style as he does the Jack Nicholson style, but I think with the Heath Ledger side of things, he kind of tones it down a bit, making things how they're supposed to be in my mind. And not to mention he's messed up in the head. But then again, I find there's actually something I guess I find relatable about Joker in that regard. But ultimately, he's the crown prince of crime. I mean, come on, how could no one hate the? How could no one not find the Joker an intriguing villain? And that's what puts him at number 1 on the list. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.